issues such as breast pain, back pain, shoulder strain, and then premature again.
Okay. Thank you very, very much. This has been an amazing conversation with you. We're really grateful for your contribution to this conversation. We hope you have a good day.
Thank you too. Bye.
All right. So we have, okay, now back to us here in the studio. We have comments here. This one says, chemotherapy, can it affect the functioning of ovaries, reducing the number or quality of eggs? These anti-cancer drugs may also cause infertility in women who haven't started menopause, making them premenopausal or perimenopausal. Yeah, perimenopausal. Yeah,
you talked about that.
Please, how true is it? So the questions are two. The second one is, please, doc, I have an aunt who had breast cancer surgery. Will she need radiation or chemotherapy or both? So the first one, chemotherapy causing some form of infertility or reducing the quality of eggs.
Yeah, so like the ova, that's the eggs, they need to be preserved in the sense that the chemicals really affect the integrity of these ovaries, even in breast cancer treatment, any cancer treatment.
Okay.
Even in breast cancer treatment, any cancer treatment.
Okay.
The gonadal cells, that is the cells that produce the reproductive organs or anything related to reproduction, fertility, is affected. And at the end of the day, most of the time, what happens is, most of the time, it's so sad, they end up having struggles with fertility. So you are counseled on it. If you have the means, your eggs are freezed, and then procedure is like, you go ahead with the procedure, and then when you are ready to have a child, you might not have it the normal way.
You have to do the IVF.
The IVF and the fertilization and all those things. So it's quite an expensive procedure. So for an average Ghanaian woman, she's robbed of her fertility through this cancer treatment. And sometimes the doctor would encourage you that after some years, your body will regenerate again. And then you'll be able to have children. So it's either ways.
Okay, so the second question was that he says he has an aunt who just had breast cancer surgery. Will she need chemotherapy or radiation or both? So with this, you can just give us the difference in why both are needed, or if
so like I said earlier, that based on the staging of the cancer, the type of cancer, some of these treatments work synergistically. You can't have just chemotherapy. So if, for example, the tumor is big, they'll first have to do radiotherapy to shrink the tumor before they now do surgery to remove as much excision, wide excision of the breast as much as possible, the mastectomy with removal of the lymph node and all that. Then when they are done, they now have to do the chemotherapy, and then they'll even go back to the radiotherapy again. So it can be either ways. It's not defined. So let's say breast cancer journey is individual.
It's customized.
It's customized
based on what the needs are.
Yes, it's customized.
From chemo to radiation to the journey, everything is very different.
So you see, that's where support groups come in. You need each other, I understand. So, and it's not much common in Ghana.
Yes.
But I think we are better than before.
I'm going to push it.
Yeah.
We're hoping to see that. We will also try our best to join hands. And so all too soon, our time is almost up. And so I would have to just take our concluding remarks. I remember you were mentioning something about the support groups and the religion thing. So you can chip that in. I know you would want to.
You know, listen, my faith going through my journey was paramount. There's no question about it. But you have to know that you are a child of God and that everybody can pray to support you, but you have to believe. And if you don't have the faith, then you are shaken. Because Doc cannot pray for me.
Good.
I have to believe that that prayer that Doc is praying for me is going to work, and I have to have that faith. But alongside, for me, I prayed for the right doctors. I prayed for the right nurses. I prayed for the right support. So I think it's so important for us to include faith, but it cannot be where we stop. We forget that God created the doctor and all the brains in the doctor's head. We forget you know, your herbalist will help you cure mild diseases and little things. I beg you, cancer is not one of them.
Thank you.
It's not one of them. Don't play with it. Your early detection is how you save your life. So please get yourself to the doctor.
Wow.
Yeah,
Thank you
so,
so much. Yes.
Okay. So I think I'll buttress on what Madam's saying, that let God do his work and then let the doctors also do theirs too. Together, there'll be a greater, better output. I was on a show with one nurse, a nurse who was diagnosed with cancer 30 years ago. She was a nurse, but she could have said, okay, I pray, I'm religious, and then God said he will heal me, because she had a dream that God said he will heal her. But then she went ahead to do her surgery. She went ahead to do her chemotherapy. And even before the chemotherapy, she said that she had a dream. And she saw that she was on a trolley. And apparently, normal saline, usually the medications are put in the fluid. And she said she was on a trolley with the saline going up and down, but there was no one around. And at that time, she didn't know that that was chemotherapy. So what happened was the following day, when the doctors came, she saw that scene and she said, oh God, so you have already done it spiritually. Just it didn't end that she said, okay, because of that, don't do my chemotherapy. She went ahead, and that's after 30 years. So like medicine and God, it has to be together. So I'm just saying it out there. If you have breast cancer, know that God can heal you, and allow your doctors to take care of you. Come to the hospital, let's diagnose you. Just relax in our arms, let's take care of you. Let's go through the process. You need psychologists, you need everyone around to support you, but the doctor's instructions, just go by it, and then just allow yourself to be molded. And at the end of the day, whatever happens, you know that God will see you through. Nothing is lost. Yeah, nothing is lost.
Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us here. Two amazing ladies I am so privileged to get to know. Yes, so we have messages here. My producer says we have messages, so I should read them. Oh, come on. Well, while they get the message, myself, I have more questions. So while my producer gets my messages... It's just one. It says, can you ask Doc to explain inflammatory breast cancer? That's the message, Doc. It's not you. It's a question. Please explain it before we go.
So there's a type of breast cancer that there's no lump. We call it a Paget's disease.
Okay.
Which is more like inflammation of the breast. If you don't take care, you miss out on that diagnosis. Because the patient comes with pain in the breast. You think it's normal mastitis. Like I said earlier, mastitis is mast breast, so itis is inflammation. So mastitis is inflammation of the breast. So you'd be treating with antibiotics and painkillers, thinking it's mastitis, only for you to realize that it's chronic Paget's disease. So usually when you notice a patient coming consistently with having abscess in her breast and having wound not healing and there's no lump, we do a biopsy.
Okay.
And then the biopsy picks up the cancer.
Okay.
So there was this story of an elderly woman. The daughter was my friend. So the mom got hurt, I think when she was cooking or something. So the sore wasn't healing. And she was like, okay, doctor, come and examine her. So she came around and we examined. I thought it was probably because she was diabetic, because when you have diabetes, your sore was, so we tried to manage the sugar. It wasn't still going. And then I was like, this thing, it could be breast cancer, but I wasn't too bold to my friend because I knew she'd break down. So what I did was I invited the mom. We did it without my friend knowing. We had to do the biopsy. And so when we got a diagnosis, I had to now do it like we are now going to start.
Okay.
And made her aware that we are going to do a biopsy. We already knew the diagnosis before we went through it, and then we realized it was Paget's disease, which was a type of breast cancer. So it's true that breast cancer is not only that there's a lump in your breast.
Okay. Well, as we heard from our doctor, it is not always only a lump. So let us make sure to get screened, get checked. Last Thursday, she said we can choose a day every month. Right after your period, you can do some screening. And of course, if you can afford it, anytime you go for your general health checkups in the hospital, chip that in as well. So we put up the Pink for Africa poster, to support earlier in the show. And if you're having issues with the app, you can just use the *170# instead of the Momo app if you are facing any issues. So now, before my producers have my head, I would have to wrap up quickly. Thank you so much once again for granting us this interview. It has been amazing speaking with you, learning about your experience and, of course, your advocacy. And, of course, our very own Dr. Partey, thank you so much for joining us here. And, of course, you, our cherished viewers, thank you so much for joining in the conversation. Thank you for tuning in every Tuesday and Thursday to Clock TV for the Cocoa Digest Morning Show. A big thank you to everybody who put hands together to make this show a success. We are most grateful, and we hope you have an amazing weekend ahead. And don't forget to get checked. Early diagnosis, early detection is very, very paramount. Do have an amazing day ahead.
Clog TV. Beyond the policy.